We're all tied up, and this first set is dead even.
Unbelievable combination.
Wow.
Beautifully done.
What a great spot. Hello and welcome to the 2025-26 APTA Tour. We're live from the Hyde Park Golf and Country Club in Cincinnati, Ohio, bringing you the 2026 Midwesterns Grand Prix with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsor, Corient. Tournament support has also been provided by the following: our presenting sponsors, Duncan, and the Greater Cincinnati Platform Tennis Association. Additional local sponsors include Mercy Health, Roto-Rooter, Alta Fiber, some of Dave's favorite products, Quintus Wealth Management Group, We Connect Health, Viking Athletics, High Grain Brewery, Total Platform Tennis, Plains Moving and Storage, True Point Wealth Council, River Hills Bank, Marymount Capital, Town Properties, Atlantic Sign Company, Stretch Lab, and Titan Trophies. I'm Patty Hogan, along with Bayonne's finest, Dave Broderick, bringing you the women's finals from Cincinnati between our #1 seeded team of Ellie Halbauer and Anna Zubori up against our tournament #3 seeded team of B. Lopez and Pejic. Dave, welcome to the booth. Can you just give us a quick background on where these players are from?
Absolutely, Patty, and thank you for having me. Ellie Halbauer is a hometown favorite from Cincinnati, Ohio. She's the director of racket sports at the Camarago Club in Cincinnati. Her partner, Anna Zubori from Old Westbury, New York, is a two-time national champion. Their opponents are Pejic, the assistant director of paddle tennis at Fairfield Country Club, and she's from Stamford, Connecticut. And her partner, B. Lopez from Morristown, New Jersey, is the 2024 mixed national champion.
All right, Dave, we want to take a moment and share some information about the tournament charity. The Cure starts now and invite you to join the online auction for items, premium tickets, platform and pickle packages, and signed sports jerseys. Founded in 2007 by Brooke and Keith Deserick in Cincinnati, The Cure Starts Now is a global nonprofit dedicated to curing rare pediatric brain cancers, research that has the power to impact all cancer. The Midwesterns is so proud to stand alongside The Cure Starts Now with a portion of tournament proceeds going directly to support their mission, because together, The Cure Starts Now. You too can support The Cure Starts Now by participating in the Midwesterns online auction using the QR code on your screen. All right, so Dave, our chair umpire, Ron Bergotti, is up there calling the action today. And Dave, do you want to identify the players on their positions on the court now?
Sure, absolutely. On the top of your screen on the left-hand side in all white is Ellie Halbauer, and her partner with the white top, white visor, and black pants is Anna Zubori with the red paddle. And their opponents on the baseline on the right-hand side in the white top is B. Lopez, and her partner with the darker colored top and the blue headband is Pejic.
Dave, Halbauer and Zubori had a great win last night in their semifinal action. They took out Allison Morgan and Charlotte Sikora 4-6, 6-2, 6-3. A great three-setter. Lopez and Pejic took out our tournament #2 seeded team of Macy Elliott and Lisa Lalich yesterday, 6-3, 6-2 in their semifinal match. Morgan Sikora, you know, they're one of the teams coming into this event. We wanted to see how they performed, and they had a beautiful win in the quarters over O'Sullivan and Surridge in a 3-set match. You know, the depth in the women's game evident here in the draw at the Midwesterns. Kudos to everybody on getting so many top players into Cincinnati for the 5th and final Grand Prix of the year. And I mean, it has been exciting paddle every single match, and there's a wave from B. I think B. Lopez just was giving a wave to you and I, or Alvy. I'm not sure, Gabe.
Oh, there's another one.
Yeah, no, that was Yeah, the matches yesterday were really good. You know, really tight matches all throughout the tournament. You know, one of the things, because I was doing the match for Halbauer and Zubori, their semifinal, and, you know, they're going to need to kind of clean things up a little bit from yesterday's match. You know, Morgan Sikora played a really good match. They had some opportunities to, you know, potentially be here in the final match, but you know, Halbauer and Zubori were able to pull it out, and they, you know, just at the end they played some really big points really well.
Lopez Page, just, I thought, a dominant performance for them, like a performance as good as they were playing last year at Nationals. And they just had all the answers for what Elliott and Lalich threw their way. And Elliott and Lalich had some opportunities, didn't capitalize. But, you know, Lopez and Page, Dave, you know, when I watch them play and you think about them as a team, and they are so fast as a team, and they defend so great from the baseline because of their foot speed. And I look for that. I mean, I think that they can handle the overheads as well as any team on the tour that Halbauer and Zubori will fire at them. I kind of feel like this match is going to come down to the net play of Lopez and Page, because we know that Halbauer and Zubori will have that constant barrage of consecutive drives, boom, 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 boom. And I think it will test the positioning and, you know, volley skills, volley placement of Lopez and Page. Lopez and Page did a great job yesterday handling all the lobs that were thrown their way, and they moved back as well as anyone for their overheads, and that's a critical piece of the sport of platform tennis. And, you know, they just, theirs was a footwork display, David. It reminded me of you and your younger days when you used to move around the court.
I used to sashay around the court.
Oh, my Lord, you and your brother. I don't know who was faster.
Pound for pound, it was me. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Patty. I think this is going to be a really good match. You know, both teams kind of play a similar style from the baseline. You know, they like to drive the ball. They like to be aggressive. You know, again, if I'm Page and Lopez, I would be a little bit weary of Halbauer off the deck. You know, she's got big forehand, big backhand. You know, there's not a lot of safe spots with her, so you kind of really have to pick and choose when you're going to go at her. You can't let her swing away from the baseline.
Dave, this is a mistake sitting next to you and telling you to do everything B. Lopez does in the warm-up. You got to relax. I'm worried about your heart rate.
Yeah, no, we got to definitely relax a little bit here. You know, one thing I noticed in last night's match where I think it could make a difference, to your point on, you know, how is Page and Lopez going to handle the net? I think right off the bat, I think when they're serving a Halbauer, they really have to try to get that serve to the middle of the court, because last night's match, she hit a lot of returns from out wide, and she really hurt Morgan and Sikora with that big forehand.
Yeah, that's a great point. Looks like Taya Page will start it off. Dave, we might see a little bit of an underarm, sidearm serve. She pulled out yesterday against Macy Elliott. We'll see if she brings it out today.
15-0. Maybe see a good deep volley from B. Lopez.
Right, but you see how B got out of the way of a backhand volley and to go to her forehand, and the ball sat up a little bit? I just think when she's playing the position to the right, she's got to hit more backhand volleys just to keep the play neutral for the next shot. Any ball that goes from the right side of the court over to Halbauer, they are dead in the water on.
Yeah, no, they're going to be in big trouble. Halbauer's going to make them pay.
So right off the top, 3 little kind of slice overheads from Zubori, all off speed. I kind of think that's it. I think you test Page and Lopez in the middle, and in both the baseline and at the net. You know, they're such great ball strikers. I like to kind of pull them into the middle first and then see if you can get some openings.
Like you saw there, where Zubori used the middle of the court with the overheads, and then that opened up the nick for her to be able to hit a winner. See, Patty, there's an example of what you were talking about, where that ball went from the right side of the court over to the left side of the court, allowing Halbauer to just rip a big two-hander right through the middle.
I think with Halbauer's improvement this season in so many aspects of her game, her serve, her overheads, her volleys, you know, oops, the curse. You know, I don't know that Lopez and Page, you know, they want to take advantage of their speed and they don't mind letting that ball go through in transition. But I feel like Halbauer and Zubori at the net are tough. And they're Lopez, Page, I said, they're great defenders. But I feel like Halbauer and Zubori, you know, play a really smart match and manage their overheads and volley placement. You know, the match is theirs.
You know what?
It favors them.
Yes, and to add on to your point, you know, when Halbauer and Zubori are at the net, they're going to look to get Zubori, you know, over on Halbauer's left, so she's hitting most of the overheads. And, you know, Zubori may have the best overhead in women's paddle, you know, not only with the spin and the speed and the placement, but one of the things that really impresses me is very rarely does Zubori get herself into trouble hitting overheads.
Right. When she hits overheads, there are a few players who can attack them effectively, right?
Correct. Yep.
Game, Lopez, Page, they lead the first set, 1-0.
And it's kind of interesting. I'll see what the strategy is for Zubori on a return to serve. See how she went with the chip off speed, Dave? You know, when she's feeling it, she kind of crushes her forehand. But I think she was aware that Page was kind of hesitating to move into the net, and she picked up on it and just, I think, hit a chip return. But, you know, I want to see Zubori get that forehand going.
The only thing that's going to make it harder and probably not necessary is if the team of Lopez and Page decide to stay back against her. You know, on that last play, I think it was a smart shot by Zubori, just chipping that back. I would have liked to have seen her got into the net a little bit quicker instead of having to play a half volley from the mid-court area.
Now right here, right off the bat, this is a change. Short Hills, Zubori just switched and got to the left position as fast as she possibly could, where Ellie got to stay there for 4 overheads. I didn't see that last weekend.
They're trying to keep them guessing, Patty.
Yeah.
They don't want to get them used to one style of play.
Far side deuce court, white paddle, that's B. Lopez. Far side at court, black paddle, that's Taya Page. Red paddle near side to the left of our screen on a Zubori, and that's Cincinnati native Ellie Halbauer in the right position at the net.
That was closer than I thought, or they thought. Patty, one of the things I think for Lopez and Page to have some success when they are on the baseline is, you know, I think they're going to have to try to lob Halbauer more to create movement, but also maybe to get Halbauer to hit more overheads, because like you had mentioned, you know, in this setup for Zubori and Halbauer, they want Zubori hitting as many overheads as possible.
But it was interesting, Dave. I thought, you know, Curtis and Mihalovic played such a huge match in the finals of Short Hills to take out heavily favored team of Zubori and Halbauer. And I felt that it was kind of interesting because Zubori wanted to hit all the overheads, but I actually thought Halbauer's really heavy roller overhead is kind of a unique shot for her in the game and was highly effective against all the players. But she didn't really get that many looks to hit it, so I'll be curious if we get some more Ellie Halbauer overhead action today. So, like I said, right from the beginning, you saw Zubori using the middle of that court, aiming exactly at the logo of Hyde Park. That's kind of the neutral shot. They hit it down the middle, Dave. They have very little movement, as you know, required for the next shot. And they love defending in those situations. Great hands, great pressure.
Yeah, that was a really well played point. One of the things I liked about that point with Lopez and Page, you know, to add on to what I said earlier, they lobbed over Halbauer's head, but Zubori went and got it, and then they kind of created a little bit of an opening for that cross-court drive, which then led to a shorter drive. So, you know, if they can stay patient and just kind of stick to that play a little bit more and stick to that routine, you know, I think that could pay dividends for them throughout this match.
I totally agree, and I think that's what led them to being finalists at last year's national championships.
15-30. Excuse me.
15-30.
15-30.
Dave, yesterday, Lopez and Page put on a clinic on lobbing baseline off the deck with just their paddle heads up, really firm wrists. We talk about it a lot in our clinics. And you see how they, you know, very limited backswing, very limited follow through. They kind of keep that paddle on the same side of their body where they start the swing. And they have, you know, really consistent defensive lobs that they're able to move around pretty nicely.
Yeah, and I think one of the, you know, important things to watch when they are hitting those block lobs off the deck is how efficient their movement is. You know, they're not taking big swings. They're not taking the paddle from behind them. They're almost like hitting a volley off the bounce is really what they're doing. You know, just efficiently getting that ball up in the air and taking away time from the net team.
And Dave, you know, as a result of them being so good at this, and you mentioned the word balance, you know, when you see them after they get the ball back, they're perfectly balanced. They do a split step and boom, they're ready for the next shot. Lots of times you see players with those real long swings struggle to react in time to the next ball.
Patty, the other thing I want to point out is, you know, with a lot of these overheads, Page and Lopez are blocking them back, and, you know, they're not really hurting them with it, but I think in the long run, every time they block the ball, they're taking away a little bit of time from Zubori and Halbauer. And I think as the match goes on, the more time they take away and the more they make, you know, Halbauer and Zubori move quickly around the court, I think that could be another key, you know, as this match goes later and later.
Yep, good point, Dave.
30-40.
And that was a great move over from Paige. She can do that. She's got that wide range, just like Zubori does on her forehand, you know, coming beyond the halfway point. Hey, if you can hit it like that, and I love that she targeted Ellie there. Ellie's paddle wasn't quite up and ready for that volley, and she got the error.
Yeah, and it was well placed right on Halbauer's right hip.
We love that right hip area, Dave.
Yep. You want to aim for awkward spots on the drive, not at the other player's paddle.
Meaning if they're setting up and showing backhand, move the ball to the other side of their body a little bit.
Right. For a righty, you want to go more at their right hip. For a lefty, you'd go more at their left hip.
Dave, what if they don't volley off the backhands?
Then you still want to maybe try to get it more to the right side to get them to flip their paddle.
Got it.
And as a team, you know, if you're picking a spot and you're playing with players that are hitting forehand and backhand volleys, you know, you want to aim more to the middle of the court because, again, then both players aren't fully aware of whose ball it's going to be, where if you start aiming out wide, well then, whether they hit a forehand or a backhand volley, they know whose ball it is.
So, Dave, big break here to start this, you know, this match. The finals of Cincinnati, the 5th and final Midwestern on the APTA Tour. And the culmination of the tour, as we know, Nationals, Dave, New Jersey, 2 weeks. And I believe sign-up deadline is today for everything national-wise that's happening in the month of February and early March. Junior Nationals next weekend. Dave, you're going to be on the mic calling the action, and sign up for that. And tonight, and if you need partners, email Greg Morgan on the website where the signups are, and we might be able to match you up, match the kids up. And then Nationals, Open Nationals, Blake Anderson, Rob. Who else is on that committee, Dave?
Pam Randazzo, Melissa Lucchini, there's so many people. Leslie Stiska, there's a whole variety of different people that are contributing to what's going to be a great tournament.
Yeah. So, Dave, you know how we said how you could see Zubori using the middle a lot, and then Page I gotta give credit to Paige. Big pickup on tactics right there. She kind of is watching Zubori really well so far, and she's kind of has a sense of when she's going the middle now, because Zubori's maybe doing it a little too much, and so now it's time for Zubori to adjust her overhead. Good adjustment from Paige and Lopez for Paige not to sit in that outcourt corner deep. She just snuck over and took that away, and Lopez Paige, great start to this final.
Yeah, Halbauer and Zubori last night in their semifinal matchup got off to a little bit of a slow start. So, again, they picked it up, enough to get the victory and move on to the finals here. But, I think it's a little bit of the same thing. Paige and Lopez are definitely putting some pressure on them and making them pay for some of the shots they're hitting.
Wow, that was a brave, the brave ball to let go through. And this is the thing, serving is such a key against Zubori and Halbauer. You mentioned it on the onset, Dave, at the onset.
Yeah, and it's still early in the match, but I mean, it's a big game. You're up 40-15 or 40-love to give away a couple of freebies there, and when you're playing a great team like Zubori and Halbauer, like you can't. They feed off of free points. They take advantage of them.
Good communication. You see Zubori's testing. This is what I'm loving what I'm seeing from Paige and Lopez with that communication on the lobs. So David, Short Hills, Curtis Mihailovic, played a lot of shots over to Zubori's ad-court side in that match, and kind of, in a sense, literally froze out an already frozen Ellie Halbauer, Dave, at Short Hills, one of the coldest paddle days I ever remember. Just curious, how much of those tactics Paige and Lopez will bring into this match.
Well, I think Halbauer has such a big game from the baseline off her forehand and her backhand that, in all honesty, you probably don't want to give her a lot of touches to kind of to stay loose and get a feel for the ball. I think, if you're going to hit a ball to her.
We're at deuce. I don't think that's game. The score's deuce. Sorry, Dave.
Yep. I think it's definitely 40-40. Might even be 50-50 now.
Your math skills constantly improve, Dave.
Little miscommunication there. I think that should have been Zubori's ball the whole way.
But that's, Halbauer, her tendency when she's the right side player, kind of like, she doesn't play as far right as some players. So that can lend itself to a little bit more confusion than a team who does a little bit more shifting. There she's well over. So you'd like to see, I love the consecutive drives from Lopez, but I want her to move the drive, not just go twice to where Zubori set up for a backhand volley. Move the second shot over a little bit on Zubori.
Patty, I think that's a good lesson for everybody out there watching that. There's no rule that says you're only allowed to drive one ball at a time. We've seen all the players on the court hit multiple drives in a row. It's got to be done with a purpose and not just to swing and hit a drive trying to finish the point. You're watching all these players when they hit consecutive drives in a row, they're well placed, well spotted, and you know, there's usually not trying to win the point on that shot. It's to get an easier shot on the next one or to force an error.
See how Ellie crouches down, Dave, as opposed to sliding to her right? I potentially think that's a little bit of a problem spot. I think that I'm just more comfortable if the player moves to the right because the person hitting the overhead has more lanes to hit their overhead too. If Ellie stays there and just gets down, the likelihood of Zubori being able to hit an overhead over her or to the right are non-existent. But it is on a Zubori, Dave. If anybody could do it, she could.
Right. That's a great point, because now also what that does is it just gives Pejic and Lopez a little bit more information as to knowing where the Zubori overhead's going to go to.
Exactly. And it does look like this, you know, the overheads are going more to Zubori. They're pretty committed to not giving Ellie as many touches as they're giving Zubori for sure here. Again, like a wide open lane on that drive. And that's where Halbauer wasn't looking to volley that ball, Dave.
Right, and that's, you know, we talk about this all the time, that even for the best players out there that we see week in and week out on live stream, you know, if you're not playing within a set system of play, there's always going to be that uncertainty. And you know what, when you're in the finals of a Grand Prix, you know, you can't have that uncertainty.
Dave, I don't know where the points will end up depending on the result today, but you know, yesterday's semifinal win for Lopez Page over Lalich Elliott could have some impact on seeding for nationals in Jersey in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's coming down to the wire. Everyone's, you know, looking to move up a little bit. They, you know, maybe want to get a little bit, a slightly, you know, I don't want to say easier, but more favorable match, maybe a round earlier. And great example right there, the capabilities of the ground strokes from Halbauer, like right there. You know, I would have liked to have seen that overhead go straight back to Zubori as opposed to having to shift over and create a little opportunity for Halbauer.
And the other thing, Lopez, they just stood there, right? You knew Ellie was going to crush another two-handed. They either have to go back or go and try to stuff the volley. But staying mid, you know, little inside service line by a couple steps is not going to get it done on the volley front. I love this camera angle from CSM out here, Dave. Beautiful shots of Zubori doing her thing.
A little bit of bad luck for Lopez and Page, but good drive by Zubori. Hey, Patty, it's Dunkin's world, and you're living in it. Introducing the $5 meal deal. 6 crispy hash browns, a wake-up wrap, and a medium hot or iced coffee. Bring your friend, bring your cousin, bring your paddle partner, or just your fabulous self. $5 gets you fed and feeling good. Dunkin' has deals for everyone. Get the Dunkin' $5 meal deal. It's a Dunkin' thing. Patty, after a long morning of paddle, do you and your paddle buddies go for the meal deal at Dunkin'?
Oh my gosh, there's nothing I love better than that Dunkin'. Yeah, you know, they're located so conveniently right near our hometown, right? I mean, there's a Dunkin' so close to the Nationals at Canoebrook and Summit. Players are going to be thrilled. So that's Ellie Halbauer serving, and that's B. Lopez on the return. Dave, what adjustments have you seen in, or the improvement in the Halbauer serve from when she came into the sport a couple of years ago?
You know, it's definitely the one big thing is just, it looks like her confidence is way higher. You know, she's a lot more confident with the shot. You know, I don't think she's just trying to get it in anymore. I think she's using it to where, you know, she uses it to put pressure on the receiver as well.
And what adjustments did she make from her initial serving grip, Dave, to her current grip? Slight adjustment?
Yeah, a little bit more towards a continental grip, and, you know, really being able to do different variations with the serve as well.
And so moving more to a continental grip, that allows players to hit more spin, Dave, on their on their serve?
It allows you to, and it's a little bit, adds a little bit of disguise, because again, with that grip, just by manipulating the paddle face with the continental grip, it allows you to add spin, take spin off, hit it flatter, hit it, you know, softer and more spin. So, you know, it's definitely kind of gives you more variety and opportunity.
You know, I love the camera angle just showing the early prep that these players have, the early recognition of what the shot's going to be. And as the shots, you know, being hit by Halbauer and Zubori, you can see Lopez, Pejic, like they just pick up on it, Dave, instantly and move their paddle to the side where they expect the ball to be going on their body, whether it's their forehand, their backhand, and they stay engaged in the play. Even if the ball's going to their partner, you don't see that bounce stop. They both are playing every shot almost.
And you see that early racket preparation, you know, it allows them to set up early for the shot. They're able to stay balanced, and, you know, it is a big reason for why their results are so well. They're able to hit good shots from having early preparation. As we see there, the two-handed roller from Halbauer for a winner.
All right, a couple of break points here on the Lopez paddle. What great hands. I mean, that was a great spot drive on that return. Phenomenal hands.
Let's go, Phil. Come on.
Yeah, good hands from Ellie to cut that ball off. But don't you see a lot of confidence out of Lopez, Pejic, Dave, here today with each other? A lot of trust.
Yeah, no, I mean, they've, you know, played for a while now. They've played a lot of big matches, so they're, you know, it's definitely not going to be nerves or uncomfortable. They're definitely comfortable in this situation, and, you know, it just comes down to, you know, their execution and their opponent's execution. But, you know, it definitely makes it easier when you're confident in your partner's abilities and their shot selection and what they're going to do there.
Come on, let's go. Right here. Come on, come on. Let's go. This one. Give me this one. Yes, come on. Let's go. Come on.
You saw the placement of that backhand by Lopez. I think Halbauer was looking for a forehand down the middle, and Lopez brought it back sort of down the line and got Halbauer to have to move her paddle more than she would have liked.
I got it.
Whoopsie. Lopez, you know, keep hitting the spot. Just keep causing the confusion. I said, you know, Zubori and Halbauer can test Lopez and Page in the middle, and vice versa. You always want to test it. Nothing is routine in paddle.
Advantage, Halbauer.
Couple of let courts coming into play here early in this first set.
Yeah, no, the let court has kind of kept Halbauer and Zubori in this match. You know, when they're at the net, Halbauer and Zubori with the scheme that they're trying to do, I think Ellie Halbauer has to really stay a little bit more committed to staying up at the net and not drifting back.
I had it in, guys.
Come on, it was wide.
Sorry, Jay, I had it in.
Of course, you had it in.
Good.
It was out.
Game,
Let's see the
Halbauer
videotape.
scores.
Was it in or out?
Was that out?
First set tied, 2 games apiece.
Okay, on that note, we're at 2-all in the first set. An overrule on game point there. All right, so that's Taya Page
15.
taking a little bit of her frustration out on that phenomenal first serve. Gotta love her service motion, Dave.
Letting the chair umpire know that that ball was out.
Look at that. That continental grip, her setup, she dips, she uses those legs, full swing, a lot of acceleration.
30 love.
Patty, this is very impressive that, you know, a little bit of a disagreement on a call with Page and Lopez and the chair umpire, and for them to be able to come back here and get a 40-love lead in this game is very impressive. That's, you know, just goes to show you how mentally strong they are and how they're staying focused on the next point. You know, whether they agreed with the call or they didn't, it's just, you know what, let's move on and let's play the next point.
Yep, great point, Dave. It's that paddle wisdom, right? Maturity. It's like that maturity in that moment. You don't even let it phase you. You know it's going to take a million good shots to win the match. Just a slight hiccup.
Right, and you know what? All these top players, they all understand that, you know, that one play or one shot, that's not going to determine the outcome of the match.
Exactly.
15. Lopez Page lead the first set 3-2.
All right, Patty, Corian is the official wealth sponsor of the APTA's 2025-2026 season. Corian is a fee-only wealth manager who puts their clients at the center of everything they do. Learn more at Corian.com.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Don't worry.
So 3-2 first set. We knew we were in exciting seats for this women's final today, Dave, and it's not disappointing. It's high-level play. Both teams locked in from the beginning. You know, very few unforced errors. Well-played match.
And from the beginning, we thought this was going to be a good matchup again because both teams play, you know, from the baseline, relatively similar styles of play, and you know that we definitely knew it was going to be a fun and exciting match.
Dave, you're like a pretty fancy dresser. What do you prefer, the black and purple combination or the red and white?
I do like the black and purple.
Nice.
You know, red's a little flashy for me, but you know what? I'm not afraid to put on a pair of red pants. especially around the winter holiday time.
Well, I'm thinking maybe for nationals, Dave, you know, the announcing team should all wear the same clothes, and I think we just have to pick from one of these two color schemes. You'd be game, right?
Yeah, I'm in. We could have matching outfits.
I think Guy Moore would love that.
I mean, Guy Moore in purple pants.
Okay, I gotta rethink this idea. Dave, it's a light snow here in Cincy, shouldn't affect the play here in the women's final. But, 35 or 40 degrees warmer than the last event out of Short Hills, your old club. That was such a brutally cold weekend. So nice for the players to get a great weekend of paddle weather here.
Yeah, yesterday, today, both days have been beautiful weather. Not too cold. Maybe today in the women's and men's, we might not see as much spinning of the ball with slash overheads and drop shots like we did see yesterday because, the temperature yesterday was a little bit warmer, which made the ball a little bit softer, allowing for a little bit more compression to really stick the ball to the paddle and create that spin. So I don't know if we're going to see as much of that today because it is colder, but I'm sure we're still going to see some fabulous shot making throughout the day.
Yeah, so triple break point here against Zubori and
Lopez, Page, they lead the first set 4-2.
Okay, Dave, full stop on our colors, maybe for nationals after we talk. Anything pop out on these stats to you?
Lopez and Page just winning a lot of points. They've won 25 points already, 58% of them. They've broken serve twice already in this match where Halbauer and Zubori have only broken one. So, I think still like yesterday we talked about it, Halbauer and Zubori, I think as this match goes on, they're going to really want to clean up some of the opportunities that they get and, make Lopez and Page hit one more ball.
Yep, Lopez Page on a 5-point streak, thanks to court director for all their timely stats throughout the APTA season. All right, Dave, a couple people are chiming in on our color scheme. Denise Murphy said she's really not in favor of purple or red for herself for nationals. Deb Chelson said she would love to see you in the purple and black combination. And just in case you were wondering, Deb Chelson just chimed in that it's all tied up at the end of 2. USA, Canada hockey. Dave, speaking of USA, Canada, next weekend, Junior Nationals. Rob Mitchell's bringing 20 kids from Toronto down to Summit, New Jersey. Junior Nationals play. Great group of kids, makes that event so special for all the kids stateside. 20 kids from out of the country making an effort. Let's go, people. Get your kids signed up. Today's the last day, Junior Nats. We have 10 and unders, 12 and unders, 15 and unders, 18 and unders. Go to the APTA site. One more day to sign up. Sorry.
That's right. You have till 11:59 tonight, Patty, Eastern Standard Time.
There you go. For that, and Open Nationals, Dave. So get in.
Well,
Open Nationals, right? We've got the age groups, the Masters going on. Indian Trail and Anthony Casamano are going to be hosting the APTA Men's and Women's Masters age brackets, 50s, 60s, and 70s on March 6th and 7th. And we have the Open Nationals going on in the Summit area, obviously, the same time. So many fun tournaments going on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You've got to be in it to win it.
That's right, Dave.
I mean, that was such a classy move there. They got confused.
No, 30.
Have fun. Great guy, Alex.
I'd love to see Lopez and Page just seal off, just go forward when they know a drive's coming, seal off, get closer to the net. Everyone knows probably by now Halbauer, former pro tennis player from Cincinnati, turned pro at age 15, played on the tour for 10 years. Thank God she stopped because paddle won't be the same because this woman is amazing. What she's bringing to the table is really helping the women's game.
Yeah, we talked about it, yesterday several times about just the level of play in the men's and women's game. How, I don't know if it's getting better at the top. You know, obviously all the top players are continuing to improve year in and year out, but, you know, the depth of the game is really getting, you know, stronger. Like you saw yesterday where there was an unseeded team making it to the semifinals of the men's draw, and, you know, they lost in 3 sets, and there we see tweener #1 from Anna Zubori. So it's really a credit to all these players coming out, you know, and really elevating the level of play.
Yeah, you can see Paige is covering a lot of area on that baseline. You know, doing a really good job, I think. And I don't think, you know, Zubori's overheads are impacting her that much, Dave.
You got it. You got it.
Great speed. That's Lopez to recover there. She just set her paddle low. She knew she was dropping back. She knew she was going to lob. She didn't even have to think about it. See, that's the thing. Pejic and Lopez can block so many of those hard-hit deck balls like no other team. I think they're really good at it as a team.
Yeah, they're really right now putting on a clinic on how to handle all this overhead variety.
And how many lobs do they have to hit? Enough until they see an opening, right, Dave?
Yeah, no, they're doing a great job of playing patient, and you see how Zubori's moving the ball around to try to create openings, try to create a little bit of confusion. You know, but she's not hitting high-risk shots. She's hitting the ball to safe spots, and there she goes. She got, you know, she kind of patiently outlasted Taya Page.
Right? Yeah. I think we're reading better. Hey. Before you love.
Again, Halbauer, Zubori, Lopez, Page lead the first set 4-3.
You ball?
Patty, just like that, if we look at our match summary here from court director, Halbauer, Zubori, you know, they've won a, you know, couple more points in the last few games to, you know, get a little bit closer in the points won, 53% to 47%. So, you know, it kind of shows in the score where they're back on serve, and, you know, break points are 2-2 for each of them. So, you know, this is a pretty even match right now.
Yep. Well, in top teams, you just don't expect much separation, right, Dave, score-wise, meaning both teams will dig in deep in this match, and you won't, you know, I would be shocked if we had a team who went on a 3-game streak or something like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I think we're probably not going to see that where, you know, someone's going to go on that big of a run. And I think part of that is because, you know, when you watch all these great players, like, they don't really have highs and lows in their game. It's, you know, the higher up, you know, the rankings you go, you probably see more of an even keel play from those teams where, you know, again, they don't have too many highs and they don't have really any lows. So they just kind of play steady. And, you know, we talk about it all the time where that steady, high quality play just becomes suffocating.
Yours,
So you can see Lopez moved in. You see, she saw both net players move in, and that's why she threw up the lob.
I go. You got it. I know there. Yo. You got it.
And Patty, the last couple of shots is just, you know,
Let's go.
how accurate you were earlier on talking about the movement of Lopez and Page. I mean, Halbauer and Zubori
Give me this one.
gave them a barrage of hard hit overheads, spin overheads, drop shots, and you know they ended up tracking everything down, and ultimately winning the point.
Come on, let's go. Come on.
Dave, you saw that volley error from Ellie Halbauer right there. You know, she was in that position. I'm curious. You know, I've seen her hit some overheads. I would love to see Zubori, and I want to see Zubori play a little bit more in the right position, because her hands on top of that net are crazy good. I would say, you know, you would say her hands in that situation better than anybody's in the game. Dave, would you agree?
You know what, I was very impressed with her when she was on the right-hand side of the net last night as well, because again, I think she just places her overheads very well. You know, that wasn't a placement error, that maybe just Snowflake got it right. Yeah, no, I think she should be on the net because she does have great hands. You know, the only negative with that is, you know, you're losing her overhead because she does have a very good overhead.
Right, and she's got a ton of variety, and we've seen when Zubori and Hanisch played, they played it a certain way. I'm just curious about the different skill sets that Ellie Halbauer brings to the table, and that heavy overhead that I think is hugely effective from this position where she is now. So I'll be curious if, again, they stick with it a little bit just to see if they can get onto something here.
Well, the big thing, Patty, two things. One is it's a different type of an overhead. You know, like you talked about, it's more of a heavy roller, topspin forehand style overhead. But the other thing is that the variety and the quality of Zubori's overhead isn't really affecting Lopez and Page right now.
Right, you see where Anna can make people look silly out there, and that's our point. Like, her overheads are effective to a point. I'm just saying, I would love to see them bring in the Halbauer one a little bit more from that left position.
Yeah, and I think also to your point, you know, Zubori and Halbauer are making more volley mistakes than they are getting winners off of overhead. So, you know, yeah, maybe you do want to put Halbauer up in that left side of the court and let her kind of do her thing for a little bit.
See, I like Halbauer sliding to her right, Dave. We talked about that earlier. Just kind of getting out of Anna's way just a little bit. And when she slides over, I'd love to see her paddling a little bit more of favoring a backhand position on that right side. You can see she kind of hangs with her paddle down low. She doesn't...
Lopez, Page. They lead the first set 5-3.
She's not putting a wall, you know, up there. So when you're the opponent and you get that opportunity and you see someone up on top of the net with their paddle set on the backhand, it makes you have to be much more precise on your next drive. If the person's playing off the net with their paddle low, I think when you're about to strike that drive, you have a lot more confidence.
No, I agree. You know, and I think when you're set up at the net and you're not in a backhand volley position, I think it just encourages you and makes it easier to flip your paddle, which, you know, most of these players on most of their drives, that's their goal, is to get you to flip your paddle.
So, Dave, another break of serve. I think there's been 5 in this first set so far.
Yes, there has. That's the 5th one. And you see there a good example of shot placement right through the middle. Lopez hit a couple of forehand volleys. Page hit a couple of backhand volleys, and then ultimately just from Halbauer pounding that middle, there was a little uncertainty, and they kind of both blinked a little bit and hesitated going after that last volley.
Yep, and again, if you have your system of coverage and the player to the right commits to really taking that middle and inserting themselves to just say, you know, be locked in on the opponent's drive. Anything in the middle, just that paddle set is already moving forward to the ball.
Come on.
15 all.
Really solid first set here for Lopez and Page so far.
Hey,
That's Taya Page serving. That's Ellie Halbauer, Cincinnati's finest, about to crack another return. Good serve from Page, right into her body, Dave. You know, you see a lot of people try to serve Ellie wide. Oh, man, she's lights out from there. You got to jam her.
Yeah, I think Halbauer on her return, you have to make her hit the ball from the middle of the court. When you serve out wide to her forehand, it's...
Lights out.
Yeah, it's not a winning proposition.
Good little last-second adjustment from Page there. You see she sets her paddle really low on that backhand. She knows any ball to her left, she's going to play off her backhand. See, they still think Lopez and Page got themselves in trouble from this before. They didn't make that move to defend the middle. The ball switched over toward Zubori, and then an error followed. The non-shift usually hurts you 2 shots later.
Right.
Not the first one, but the second one. Another big-time serve from Page.
Patty, almost like one of our sponsors, Roto-Rooter. You know, when you hit that shot 2 points earlier, 2 shots earlier, that's when your troubles start going down the drain.
Dave, do we get a jingle out of you today, too? Do-do-do-do. Come on, Dave.
Roto-Rooter, that's the name. I think it's too early for people to listen to me singing.
Oh, I don't think it's ever too early on a Sunday to listen to you sing, Dave.
All right, Halbauer, Zubori holding off a set point there.
I like it, you know. Page tested Halbauer there, but then was like, forget it, and they went right back. This is what we saw Matea and Jade Curtis do in the finals of Short Hills, where, you know, they just kept the play over to that right side of the court from this view to Zubori in the ad court. I think when Page and Lopez do this and stay really disciplined, they can handle and defend anything. They get in trouble when they throw it back and forth too many times.
Right, and I think there's a difference if you're out there watching, you know, and you're analyzing this, where there's a difference between hitting balls side to side to side without a purpose, and you're noticing, you know, on some of those overheads, Page was purposely hitting it to the corner of Halbauer just to get her out of the middle of the court so that she didn't have that big backhand, you know, in the middle of the court. You know, but one of the things you have to remember is Page only did it on shots that she knew she was going to get the ball into the side screen.
Yep. Great point.
And we have another set point here, Patty.
Yeah, set point number 2 for Lopez and Page. And, you know, we talked about the improvement in Ellie Halbauer. You know, I watched Taya Page play. I mean, she is lights out. She's one of our game's toughest players. You know, technically so sound. What a phenomenal athlete. And, you know, she doesn't back down to anyone out here, Dave. She's quite remarkable. And the hands plays that she just come up with on this point, fun to watch. Oh boy.
Set, Lopez, Page. They won the first set, 6 games to 3.
Dave, we'll be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel with live streaming by CSM Media and Streambox Labs with match statistics provided by Court Director.
A lot of founders start out with an idea, maybe in a garage, in a shared workspace, and really being a co-pilot along that whole journey from ideation to execution to maybe monetization one day is really the role we've decided to take in the marketplace. So I feel like we have really found a part of the market and offering that just really hasn't existed. It's this coaching, it's therapy, it's co-piloting on a journey that is unique.
We don't have time to get into all the reasons you may need urgent care. There's coughing, wheezing, itchy rashes, unpleasant infections, twists and rolls, cold and flu, tummies too. But at Mercy Health Urgent Care, we always have the time to give you exceptional, convenient care, because here you can get in and out in about an hour. Mercy Health Urgent Care, exceptional care made.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon your toilet will clog again.
What if it won't flush?
We'll always repair it.
Nobody puts baby in a flooded corner.
Maybe I should still fix it.
You had me at hello. We've got same-day service.
Plumbing completes me.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. I'm Patty Hogan along with Diamond Dave Broderick at Hyde Park Golf and Country Club, bringing you finals action from the Midwesterns, our 5th and final Grand Prix of the year leading into nationals. We've got Zubori and Halbauer, our #1 seeded team, lost that first set to Lopez and Pejic, tournament #3 seed, 6-3. Dave, what stands out to you in that first set?
I think just, obviously points won. Lopez and Pejic are up by 8. They won 8 more points, which, if we look at it, it almost adds to it's equivalent to 2 games. I thought it was a really good, entertaining first set for everybody. One thing I think a major issue is going to be for Halbauer and Zubori is just, I think they just have to clean up some of their mistakes that they made in the first set. I mean, they were in it, they had opportunities. I think they just have to clean up some of their things. If you're Lopez and Pejic, just keep doing what you've been doing. It seems to be working.
Dave, Hyde Park Country Club was founded in 1909. Did you know that?
As a matter of fact, I did. When I was looking through the notes, I came across that.
Dave, do you know that Ohio is the mother of presidents as a state, and that a Cincinnati resident, native, was in fact our 27th president of the United States? Who was that, Dave?
Let's see. Was it Lincoln? Was it? I'm going to say William Taft.
Dave, it's so hard to stump you. Dave, he's unique because he became only the 10th Chief Justice in the United States to hold both positions. Did you know that?
No, that's an added bonus. I do have a good handle on most of the presidents, but that's, above and beyond my studies.
So here's Ron Burgatti's in the chair calling the action. Women's finals, Midwesterns on Zubori, starting it off for the team of Zubori Halbauer in this second set. B. Lopez, far side, deuce court. Taya Pejic, far side, at court. Playing a really amazing match so far. But I expect a brawl in the second set, Dave. And a brawl in a good way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think this is going to be a hard-fought set. If you're Halbauer, Zubori, you have to make changes. You have to clean some things up. I'd love to see that overhead get cleaned up a little bit, as opposed to hitting it cross-court, maybe getting it a little bit straighter, hitting it back to Pejic, so this way you're not shifting so much, creating opportunity for Lopez, because, it's little things like that that I think is going to make a difference in this match.
I think they got to take the page out of the Matea Jade thing. And to your point, if the person to the right doesn't switch the ball cross court,
15,
both teams have an easier time controlling the net.
Patty, from a tactical standpoint, with so many breaks to serve in that first set, I personally didn't love that Halbauer and Zubori were starting this second set serving, especially that they're down a set. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, I got to say, I didn't even think about it, Dave, but that's a great thing for me to be thinking about. I was thinking about my next Duncan run, Dave, but, you know, it's like Halbauer, Zubori, are they better at the net or are they better at the baseline? Who knows? They're great at both spots. Pejic and Lopez, are they better at the net or are they better on the baseline? I'm going that they're better on the baseline. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking.
Well, and I think statistically, you know, Pejic and Lopez have broken serve more than Halbauer and Zubori is one serve.
Yep. This is where, you know, again, it's a call. The ball was out. You know, Zubori and Halbauer they just have to move on. Just handle it and go on. The ball was out. You know, when you use your energy to worry about stuff like that during a match, it's, you know, most people can't afford to spend energy worrying about bad line calls. It wasn't a bad line call. It was a great, the ball was out, umpire immediately, you know, backed it up. So there's no point in even getting bummed about it. So here we have Halbauer in that left position. This is kind of what I want to see and see where she takes her overheads and her variety. Because I just love Zubori's volleys.
So, Patty, the one thing I've noticed, you know, just in watching him the last couple of days as well, is that, you know, Halbauer's overhead is definitely going to get Pejic and Lopez moving around a little bit more on the baseline, but it's also going to create some offensive opportunities for Pejic and Lopez when that ball just comes off the back screen a little bit too hot. So, as beneficial as it is that Halbauer overhead, her and Zubori still have to respect that the Lopez-Pejic drive could be available sometimes.
Yep. But, you know, when you hit shots, you have to be willing to take there's going to be resulting shots, and it's just what you can cover best. What a great lob up the line. It looked like that ball might have gone long. Halbauer put a play on it, and your spot-on analysis, as always, Dave, expressing a little concern for Zubori that they were serving the second set. So, huge break for Lopez and Pejic out of the box here in this set number 2.
Patty, probably for 25 years, I've won the toss and always elected to receive. Analytics have told us since the start of platform tennis, there are more breaks to serve than there are holds.
Well, there's a lot of breaks at the higher level because of the consistency and the ground stroking, shot-making capabilities. Okay, big hole in the middle there. Zubori found it. And that's just what I'm talking about, just a little bit more of a shift over to their right for Lopez Pejic when they know that drive's coming. Little indecision there, and that's, you know, when Ellie slides to her right, there's no confusion whatsoever, Dave, as to who's going to take the next ball.
Like, I think Zubori thought she was going to back up and take that.
Yep, and she does that.
She does it quite a bit. She's got to hold her position up at the net there.
Well, that's why I mentioned earlier, Dave, like I always feel comfortable when my partner would kind of indicate that they had their paddle on a backhand position. So I knew if I hit a bad overhead that they could defend me and come up with a volley there. I think when you're neutral and off the net there, it's not the case as much. Big swing across the court, and Halbauer made him pay. And good baseline communication there, Dave, in this point with Page and Lopez. I think sometimes a lot of players don't talk as much when they're on the baseline, but you can see there's constant chatter with these two.
And especially now because you see right there with the black headband on the right side of the court, Taya Page, you know, she's normally over there in the ad side of the court. And with the white paddle, big backhand there. Good backhand by P. Lopez.
Yeah, what a beautiful two-handed backhand.
Let's go.
You know,
Patty,
how amazing.
Go ahead, Patty.
Dave. Okay. I was just going to say, how amazing is it that, you know, you've got interchangeable parts that, you know, all four of these players can play so well, whether it's out of the deuce court or out of the ad court.
Yeah, no, 100%. You know, I tell everyone that, you know, if in the middle of the match you're stuck on the quote-unquote side you don't play, well, you can't call timeout and switch sides. You know, you've got to be able to play both sides. But the other thing what I was going to point out is, you know, right now Lopez and Page are doing such a good job of not allowing Halbauer and Zubori to win points when they're at the net.
It's a great rip.
40.
And that's where Paige looked like she was torn, whether she was going to volley a forehand or a backhand. I think you've got to commit. I think you got to do the Dave Broderick. Serve a little out wide, come in, set your paddle on the backhand. The ball's going to your forehand. Maybe it's going out.
Come on.
Deuce.
That's the right shot. That's the ball they want.
Advantage, Halbauer, Zubori.
Right here, come on. Right here.
You know, I think Zubori has to give Ellie the middle more. You know, you saw them on the, like a couple shots ago, because Ellie's getting, you know, she's being flat-footed. She's being taken out of this match because of the discipline overhead and, you know, volleys, that they're playing it into that ad court. So I think when they do throw a ball up the middle, I think it'd be nice for Anna to share and let Ellie take the next ball.
Right, I agree 100%, because the other thing too is, like, you watch on a play like there, you know, it seems like they're freezing her out of the point, and, you know, you see it happening where you don't want her just standing, and give her as many touches as you can.
B. Lopez again out of that ad court, not the side she normally rips from. Got a great dipping ball, forced a volley error. Second fault, I think, in this game for Taya Page. It's a monster game for both teams, Dave. I know that's obvious, but I'm just saying it.
You know, I think, again, you know, going back to what we said and what we saw from the match statistics, you know, I think this is a way bigger game for Halbauer and Zubori. Again, even though it's only, you know, the second game of the second set. Because, again, based on all the breaks to serve, you know, for them to be down love 2 serving, that's not going to be in a you know, a positive place for them.
Yep, I'm with you. many great drives does it take to win a point, Dave? A lot.
Yeah, quite a few.
Great spot from Zubori. What a brilliant point by Anna right there. I love how she moved around everything through it, the kitchen sink in. But again, went back to that middle. That was the spot.
Well, Patty, I think, you know, she, again, we talk about it where, you know what, the out wide drive is not ideal. But in that situation, it was tactically used to pull Taya Page a little bit to her left, getting her reach. And then that opened up a little bit of the middle of the court, moving her just slightly, creating that little bit of an indecision and opening for the Zubori forehand down the middle.
Let's go.
Exactly.
No, let's play 5.
All right, Ellie Halbauer serving to B. Lopez. That's Anna Zubori with the red paddle at the net, and that's Taya Page out of the ad court on the near side.
You go. You got it.
Dave, the season kicked off. The APTA Tour kicked off in Montclair. Remember how warm it was that Montclair weekend, Dave?
Ooh, sunny and warm, hot and sunny.
100 degrees warmer than probably the wind chill effect at Short Hills from last weekend. Amazing to think about that. Anyway, Lopez and Page got their first win of the 25-26 season at Montclair. They beat Lalich and Alexandre in the finals there. Page teamed up with Saric, won the Fairfield Open. You know, Page and Saric last year played a lot more tournaments than this year, but like I said, they're kind of hitting their stride now. They've made 3 finals this year. They lost one final, Dave. I'm trying to think who they lost in Chicago. Anna Zubori played lights out in that win over Page and Lopez in Chicago. Lopez Page won the Baltimore event over Morgan Sikora. So they've got 3 wins at this point, 2 wins this point in the season. Looking for their 3rd here today. Halbauer Zubori, 2 tournaments, 2 finals, 1 win, 1 runner-up. Also looking for a big finish here with the, you know, heading into nationals. Who's going to take the most amount of confidence into the nationals out of the top teams? We shall see.
Even here with my eyes closed, I let's go. Give me this one. Let's go, Tia. Come on. Go, go, go. You! Okay. Help me.
Patty, and here you're seeing Halbauer's over on that left side of the court, hitting more of the overheads, you know, and again, like we talked about earlier, that she's moving them around, but, you know, she kind of created a little bit of offense there for B. Lopez with that big roller to the deuce side of the court.
30 love.
All right, that 5-point winning streak, Zubori Halbauer, a little energized. You know, we're a point away from being down 2-0, evened it up. Looking strong in this game.
Hey, let's go. Come on.
It's a great try by Taya Page.
Come on, right here.
Wow, almost an unbelievable. Yeah. What a catch. Oh, that was close.
It was.
See how Halbauer's sliding out of the way a little bit, but she's holding her paddle straight ahead, and the ball goes to her forehand, and she automatically switches that ball across court, it seems, and that's a play I think she could make a little bit less difficult for her team over time by committing a little bit to a backhand volley position. Staying on the backhand and let Anna kind of move over a little bit more and slash away.
Halbauer Zubori lead the second set, 2-1. Lopez Page won the first set, 6-3.
Patty, Mercy Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, providing care worthy of the pros. From same day or next day appointments, after hours care, and Saturday sports clinics, we have you covered with the expert care you need when you need it. To learn more, visit mercy.com/Cincinnati-orthopedics.
Dave, did I mention that signups end today for nationals, for junior nationals and open nationals and mixed masters, all those events, the men's and women's masters, age brackets, everything. Those events signups. Yeah, they close tonight at 11:59. But team nationals, you can still sign up. The men team nationals will take place March 28th, 29th. New Jersey, hosted by Canoebrook. The women will take place out in Chicago. They already have something like 100 teams signed up. Mike Raleigh has his hands full for that event, for sure. And then the APTA married mixed and mixed nationals will be April 18th and 19th, also in Chicago. Chicago, New Jersey, Midwesterns, getting it done.
All right, we said we're here at the last Grand Prix of the men's and women's tour, but there's still a lot of action being offered by the APTA and clubs and organizations throughout the country. And again, like Patty said, APTA men's and women's Masters Nationals, featuring draws for men and women in age brackets 50, 60, 70, March 6th and 7th in Franklin Lakes, New Jersey at Indian Trail Club. Patty, just want to say hello. We have, big advocate of the APTA Men's and Women's Tour and fan of the Men's and Women's Tour out there from Cutter's Rules, Sean Leonard, watching. I know several of the women have been on his podcast recently talking about the Nationals and different events. So I want to say hello to him and thank him for always tuning in to the men and women's games for paddle.
Well, Sean loves the game. He wishes his PTI were a little better, but he's fairly new. I think he was a COVID baby with platform tennis. He was the only thing he could do, and he took up playing paddle. Loves it out of the Jersey Shore. Plays out of Seabright. Great guy, and I love what he's doing, showcasing the talent on the tour. And he does some great interviews, and he's been nice enough to invite us onto some of those podcasts, Dave, and it's really nice to get to know the players in a different way.
Yeah, no, it's always a lot of fun with the different events that he sets up. And
see right there, Zubori wanted that overhead, but so did Halbauer. They both wanted it.
And, you knowing me long enough, you know that when that overhead goes to Halbauer and she just kind of hits that down-up overhead to the forehand side, I'm really not in love with it. I'm just trying to hold my tongue as much as I can.
It gives you agita, Dave.
Something. It's making my dunking less enjoyable.
Yeah. Hey, right there, Dave, we saw the pressure of, with Zubori, like, providing that visual presence and being in the face of Lopez off of the Halbauer return to serve. I mean, they are amazing when they can do that play. All the teams have those capabilities, and I love the pressure that you can apply right out of the box on the return off of that. All of a sudden, 3 games in a row. I said I didn't think any team would win 3 games in a row, Dave, but once again, I've been proven wrong.
Well, I also think a little bit of what's contributing to this is we're seeing, I think, a little bit of a dip in the level of play of Lopez and Page. You know, they've made a couple of errors in the last 3 games that we didn't see a whole lot of in that first set.
Love 15.
Hey, hey. Alex, play ball. Right here.
Love 30.
You know, Zubori loves this, right, Dave? Taking advantage of short lobs. She hits more drop shots than any other top women player. Would you agree? I mean, by far.
You played it out.
And she's able to open up the court.
You played it out. Yeah, you played it out. You're moving went for the next shot.
That ball was out.
That ball was out. She called it, but again, when you guys pressure the ball,
all the time.
Well, we got it. We're pressure the
it was out for sure.
If you played out the whole point.
That was in. You played it in.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. I'm just
Yeah,
asking.
call it. No, Beth, listen.
All right.
Listen, to be honest, when you called that one, it would be fine, but you didn't call.
Right.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, but yeah. you
How about
call
those
that.
Jets, Dave?
Just go with your call. Don't worry about pressure calls.
I think that ball was wide.
15, 30.
The one earlier, I thought it was wide, right, when she hit it.
No, it was definitely wide. I think the discrepancy was if she called it or kind of just played it. But, you know, I definitely saw that ball wide.
Oh, yeah, there's our camera work. I think it was wide. I agree. Dave, what's the score? Is it 30 all?
I think it's 30 all.
Okay, thanks.
Game. Zubori. Halbauer. They lead the second set 4-1. Lopez Page won the first set 6-3.
All right. If you want internet that's fast, reliable, and affordable, the choice is easy. Make the switch to Alta Fiber and get up to 6 gig speeds and 99.99% reliability. Alta Fiber. Patty, we're dead even here with points, 47 each. Breaks a serve, 4 each. Service games won, 3 each.
Momentum?
But momentum is on the Halbauer Zubori side. The only problem is Lopez Page won the first set.
15 love.
Again, big kick serve. Halbauer had a great swing off that back screen, but again, really good serve from Page. Not as good a serve from Page. Good spot for that drive. Got Lopez a little undecided on how she was going to handle that shot or if she should play it at all. Didn't come up with it. Big momentum swing.
Patty, what are your thoughts? I think it looks like Lopez and Page are a little rattled right now.
I'm with you.
Go ahead, turn them on. Go! Hold on, guys. Turn them on. I don't want to do it in the middle before.
And it's weird, Dave. You know, there wasn't like a moment that you could, the flips, it switched. There was a switch, but it definitely was a flip of momentum. And sometimes it happens in paddle matches. That's what makes paddle paddle. But Zubori, I think Zubori, you know, I wanted to see more Halbauer overheads, quite frankly, but I think Zubori, her continuing kind of variety of shots, adding in that drop shot, I think she has Pejic and Lopez a little bit out of their tempo on the baseline now.
I'd like to see Zubori throw in a few more drop shots, creating that, you know, try to create openings by moving Pejic and Lopez up and back.
Again, drive from the ad court. Lopez kind of stood there and then tried to react with a forehand, chose over, unforced error.
Right, I think if she would have stayed on that backhand volley, she would have been right there, hit the volley. You know, it was kind of an effort to get out of the way to hit the forehand.
Yeah, I kind of think she has to make a little more effort to get in position on the backhand earlier in anticipation of the drive from Zubori in that situation. So we're at deuce. Taya Pejic serving. Ellie Halbauer about to hit the return. Good move in from Zubori. Good pressure. There's your drop, Dave.
Advantage, Halbauer, Zubori.
Is that the fourth let cord, Dave, they've gotten?
Yeah, but that, I mean, you know, it'll be interesting to see how Lopez and Pejic react, because that they didn't need that at that time.
No. I think the serve was wide.
Game,
Yep.
Halbauer, Zubori. They lead 5-1, second set.
Yeah, they've got to, you know, I talked about their maturity early on in this match, Dave, how they handled, you know, when things didn't go their way or it was a call or whatever. And I think then you can see Halbauer, Zubori, a little bit of a role here. And
I love this play right now, whether
delay of game play?
Whether A and B needed to tie their shoes or not, I like it just to kind of slow things down a little bit, and, you know.
Right now, I want them to be focused on one thing. This point, then the next one, and break serve. Break serve, and at least be in a position to hold serve to follow. They've just played such a good first set. That's what they have to remember now. And I love the close from Taya Pejic right there. If she did that more, holy cow, Dave.
Yeah, no, that was really good anticipation.
And that's where, you know, when the matchup with Pejic and Lopez, and let's say when we had Macy's partner last year, Lynn Burst, you know, when they play against any teams, that's where they would always have a player committed to closing that net off. And I think that's how you can be effective against, you know, players with such explosive ground strokes like Zubori and Halbauer.
And I think right now, if you're Lopez and Pejic, whether you win or lose this game, I think you just want to try to play good long points, get back into rhythm, get back to the tempo and style that you were playing in the first set.
I think they've got to lob a little better, Dave. Obviously, they're just, you know, we talked about how good they were defending and blocking, but they've got to get some more height so that they can get rid of the being vulnerable to the drop shots here from Zubori.
Good volley there by Anna Zubori.
She just held her ground on that one.
Lopez, Page, Halbauer, Zubori lead the second set 5-2. Lopez, Page
Points won, Dave.
Set 6-3.
Dave, we're almost even here. You know, it is a tight match. I mean,
Dave, I think
Halbauer, Zubori have a
54.
little separation.
Right, I think 54-54. Is that even?
That's even.
I think so.
It's even, Steven.
You're the math guy, Dave. Come on. All right, Dave. Showing a different thing, staying back here. I love the play. I think that's smart. Can't miss a volley when you're on the baseline, Dave, right?
No, I think it's a good play, Patty, because look, Lopez and Page, the 2 games they've won this set have been from the baseline. They're 2 breaks to serve.
Yeah, I love this tactical adjustment from Lopez and Page. And, you know, this is where Page and Lopez, another thing, Dave, they need to zero in, you know, get the lob going up the line for Page more, make Halbauer get more engaged, you know, Anna's taking over the overheads. And I would lob up the line on Halbauer a little bit more. I think Page is going autopilot cross court to Zubori too much.
And especially get that lob going down the line, because again, we've seen that Halbauer will tend to sometimes take that ball in the middle and kind of back into Zubori, and that's caused them a little bit of confusion and some problems throughout this match. So, you know, I think hitting the ball cross court and having Halbauer and Zubori know exactly who's hitting it is not going to be, you know, it's not beneficial for Lopez and Page.
Dave, how about Ron Bergatti, our umpire, doing it all? Ron, Chris McKiernan, Jim Getke, Eric West, phenomenal job. What support they got from the Cincinnati and surrounding communities, great sponsors, raised a lot of prize money for these top pros. You know, just a great finish to the last Grand Prix of the APTA season.
Yeah, the sponsor list, Patty, is quite impressive.
Yeah, Paige needs to move around her lobs a little bit more here. There we go. That's better.
Yeah.
At least they got Ellie to move over and gave her a little bit of open space for a forehand.
And that's the play that Page is looking for. Pull Zubori to the right side of the court and then have that opening, you know, little bit of an opening to get a drive in there.
Uh-oh. Why do you give Ellie Halbauer 2 balls, Dave? Because
And not shift over.
And because you go to forehand volley there instead of a backhand. Backhand could keep it neutral, straight, low. Forehand swings it over to the other side. I'm convinced you've got to play keep away from Ellie on the deck.
Patty, is it safe to say that the higher the level, almost the simpler you have to play?
In a way, Dave. In a way. Why do you explain that question? I know why you asked it. Explain why you to the audience, Dave.
It's just that all the players are just so good that, you know, there can't be that much guessing or uncertainty. You know, you kind of have to. I think the less you could do, the better off you're going to be. You know, when you start playing at high levels of play.
Well, I think, higher level players have spectacular shot making capabilities on shots where you're like, how did they do that? How did they do that? You just scratch your head. But you and I have always agreed the game ultimately comes back to the fundamentals. Denise Murphy and I were talking about that yesterday during semifinal play. It comes down to volleys in the sport of paddle.
Right.
So much of the time. And if you're making volleys, Zubori and Halbauer had their fill of volley errors in that first set, and Lopez, Page, are a little they get a little bit suspect at times because they don't really, commit to a big shift at times where I think they could when they know a drive's coming their way.
40-30.
That was a great screen drive there by B. Lopez, setting up that whole, point. We're going to see it again. Look at that shot. Amazing shot. Great pickup by Zubori just to stay in the point.
Yeah.
Patty, I think one of the things, everybody out there watching, they should understand is that, just because you can get away with something some of the time, you can't get away with it all the time. And, for a lot of these great men and women players, like, they can get away with some shots if they're playing league matches or if they're playing first round opponents. But, when you start getting deeper into tournaments and deeper into the draw, like, you've got to tighten things up. Again, you've got to try to make it as simple for yourself as possible.
Uh-oh, great lobbing spot from Page out of that ad-court. Caused confusion again because of the positioning, in my opinion, of Ellie Halbauer on that play. Is that correct, Dave? Had she been over a little to the right, no confusion.
Yeah, you just kind of get her, she's tending to drift when that overhead's coming over her, the lob's coming over her left shoulder. Whereas, to your point earlier, I'd like to see her just move off the court and give Zubori that sort of open, straight-ahead lane to hit a little bit of her patented kind of cut overhead.
Yeah, and you only get to hit that slash if the ball's to the right of the person hitting it. For Zubori, moving to her right is her most effective shot. So that's where Ellie's got to give her that lane to hit. Sorry.
Patty, it's good to see everyone's locked in at this stage of the match. No, but that's a great thing to kind of see. It's they're having a little bit of a laughing, fun moment in the middle of, a high level, very important match for like you said, for maybe seedings coming up at the Nationals. But, at the end of the day, they still are out there having fun.
So Halbauer, Zubori up 5-3 in the second set. Lopez Page won the first set. We're at the Midwesterns, and this is the women's final. Boy, Halbauer got away with a pretty casual backhand there, Dave.
Yeah. And again, let's see if they can capitalize on that unforced error.
15 all.
See, I love Zubori's moves right there. Except the last one.
Yeah, that was really well done by B. Lopez, moving those shots around, moving those lobs around. Again, and we talk about this all the time where, platform tennis is played much better when you're balanced and standing still more than when you're moving around.
30 all.
Right here. Come on.
Wow, great pressure applied. Lopez, Page combination. I love the move when the top women follow their partner's return forward. Bold move, paid dividends there, big time. Break point against the Zubori serve for Lopez and Page.
Patty, break a serve here. We're right back on serve at 4 serving 5.
Yeah, Halbauer, Zubori, they had that 5-game streak. You know, early in the set, Lopez Page broke Zubori to start the set, and then Halbauer, Zubori on a 5-game run, and Lopez 2-game run here. We're gonna get it to 5-4, second set. Following this, Dave, men's final?
Yeah, right after our action, yep.
Okay, does the men's final start at the completion of the women's, or will they get it going earlier? I'm not sure.
I've not heard on, you know, with the weather in the east, if people are traveling, maybe they'll try to get it going right as scheduled at 11, but.
Right, the players are out there warming up, getting themselves ready. Lopez and Page came out this morning, 8 o'clock, Dave. They warmed up just drilling for an hour before the start of this match, and it paid off because they got off to a great start.
If you can.
So, Patty, to warm up, they didn't call 2 of their friends to play. They just went out and hit back and forth to each other.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of an interesting concept.
Lopez, Page.
Really good return from Lopez. Came over that ball, a little bit of top on that, you know, decent amount of top, but just kind of got it handcuffed. Halbauer right there, couldn't come up with that play.
Right, jammed her a little bit.
Yep. So a break point. Another break point for Paige Lopez. See, that would have been a great time to lob it up the line to Ellie. She's coming off that backside scream. It kind of lends itself to that lob up the line.
Patty, in the later stages here in the second set, we are seeing Halbauer moving, look at her, moving more to her right, which is what you talked about, because then it's going to give Zubori more options with her lethal overhead.
Indeed. Snow's
See, like, I
picking
like that overhead better.
Well, what overhead you hit is determined by where you are on the court in the women's game. Would you agree with that?
I do, and you know, if Halbauer's over there on the right-hand side, and you know, I'd like to see her keep hitting that roller if she's going to go cross court. Less of that down-up overhead, because hasn't been that effective, you know, with Lopez over there.
Yeah, Dave, it's good we got our rain gear on here in Cincy. The snow's picking up. We got blizzard conditions heading to the East Coast this, you know, I guess tomorrow into Monday, Dave. I mean Monday, tonight into Monday. You might get a snow day in New Jersey, Dave.
Gonna have to go and prime the snowblower.
Let's see it. I thought it caught the line. What do you think, Dave?
That was hard to tell.
Do you have your
my
glasses
first,
on?
I do, as a matter of fact, I do. But my first, thought is it didn't have to be that tight.
Right. You don't make that shot in that try for that shot necessarily in that moment.
You gotta
play the score and the situation.
Right, and especially you're gaining momentum. You're coming back. And one thing too is just in general, when you're the person on the right up at the net, like that's too hard of a shot hitting that side screen.
But they're better than we are, Dave. No, it's a risky shot. That's all. And she just didn't have to go for that much in that situation. Wow, great overhead. See that ball come right off the superstructure at the bottom. Really good slash. How'd she hit that, Dave? What was her contact point height?
She actually let the ball drop a little bit lower, put a little bit of cut, and she kind of hit the back of the ball to keep that low so that it wouldn't bounce down and then up.
Advantage. Lopez, Page.
Kind of surprised Zubori gave Page that shot up the line. Meaning, I was surprised she didn't position herself to just defend the volley.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is based on previous patterns. So I think Zubori felt like Page hit a lot of drives off that ball more to the center of the court. And, Page recognized that maybe she has been hitting a lot there. And, she didn't try to hit that ball down the line for a winner. She just kind of changed it up a little bit. And it worked out, for them.
Game. Lopez, Page. Halbauer, Zubori lead the second set 5-3. Lopez, Page won the first set 6-3. Sorry, it's 5-4 in the second. Halbauer, Zubori 5-4 in the second.
All right, that's the voice of our umpire, Ron Bergotti. We don't have a game streak. I'm still amazed by the 5-game, run from Halbauer Zubori early in the second set, and now Lopez and Page are on a 3-game run of their own.
Yeah, and it wasn't too long ago where I was saying, down 5-1 if you're Lopez and Page, even if you don't win that game, just try to get back to playing the way you played earlier on, where, patient, calm, under control, you're cutting down on your unforced errors, and it looked like that was the strategy, whether it was going to try to carry over to the third set or, bring them back in this second set. And here we are. They're serving at 4-5 to level this match at 5-all in the second set.
Tactically, I'm loving seeing Page and Lopez in this match, with Lopez getting a lot of looks and play time over in that ad court, Dave. I like that variety from them. I think it helps them both stay in it.
Yeah, she's doing a good job of moving the ball around, mixing up her lobs and her drives, and spotting everything really well. So I think, Patty, in this part of this set, I think this is the one area, especially going into nationals, if you're Halbauer and Zubori, that you've got to be a little bit concerned about is some of the unforced errors creeping in.
Yep, but I love what I just saw from Page again. Second time I saw her just close in on the volley. Rather than stand there and react, she just overcommitted to going to stuff the volley. I think that's huge for their success as a team. Yeah. Tough shot. 30-all. 5-4. Lopez, Page. I think Halbauer's driving, right, Dave? I think she's crushing. Oh my gosh, I can't believe she threw up a lob. I would have loved to have seen her crush that ball, even right at Lopez. Lopez was kind of dropping off, anticipating a ball to the middle.
Again, Lopez closing and really stuffing that volley.
Yeah. All right, a point away from evening things up at 5-all. Amazing turnaround in the second set.
And Patty, I think the big difference, Lopez and Pejic have just stopped giving away free points as they were in that little bit of a stretch in the beginning and middle of the second set.
Dave, I see a guy over with a blue long sleeve t-shirt on with gray pants. What player is that?
I don't know. I do not see that.
Oh, come on. You don't see our buddy Adam Morgan over there in his signature good luck outfit?
Oh, there he is with his white hat on. I see him. I see him. I was looking out the wrong window.
Apparently. Oh my God, what great hands. What a beautiful dipper that Zubori hit, and well handled by Pejic. Wow. How fun is this, Dave? I mean, this U.S.-Canada hockey? I'm so glad I went watching paddle today. And it helps that we're in Cincinnati, Dave. Italy's a long flight.
It is. And Patty, I think the U.S. may have eked out a victory in the hockey game.
Oh, I haven't gotten an update yet from the Chelsons who have been watching both sports. Oh, I just saw the text, Dave. U.S. with a big win. Woo!
Apparently, Jack Hughes from the New Jersey Devils went 5-hole for the win, but lost a few teeth in the outing. Apparently.
Uh-oh, I heard he was voted most kissable hockey player in some article I read, Dave. Maybe not so much now.
He might not be smiling till tomorrow. So, tell you what, you got to give those guys a lot of credit. I mean, that is a tough sport to play.
All right, 5-all, second set, finals of the Midwesterns. I'm Patty Hogan with Diamond Dave Broderick calling the action. What a great seat we have for what a high-level women's paddle match. There's nothing routine about this match, Dave. Just spectacular shot making.
15-30.
Patty, and I think, again, you know, a lot of people that watch paddle, they think there's a lot to it. But, you know, at the end of the day, the difference of this match right now is in the beginning, Lopez and Pejic were making unforced errors, allowing Halbauer and Zubori to win games. And, you know, it's turned. Now Lopez and Pejic are being real stingy with giving away, you know, points in games. And, you know, I think Halbauer and Zubori are making more mistakes than they were earlier on in the set. Now you have Lopez and Pejic serving for the match.
Dave, I did not think there would be game streaks of more than 3 in this set. 5 for Halbauer Zubori and 5 in a row for Pejic Lopez, I think. Is my math correct?
You are spot on.
That's what I get for hanging around with you, Dave. My math skills are improving. Overall, 53-47, pretty damn close. Just surprised by the struggles on the holding of serves for Halbauer Zubori. A little bit of a concern for them. Whoopsie, B can do everything. She just couldn't quite get that one out of the court. All right, so Lopez Pejic, having won the first set 6-3, looking to get this done this game, try to get a 2-set win. But Zubori and Halbauer have a lot to say about that, and 5-game winning streak. I'd be shocked if they could do 6 in a row off of Halbauer and Zubori.
What a get there by B. Lopez, but then again, you see the soft hands of Anna Zubori.
Yeah. Can't leave anything with no pace around Zubori. She's really made them pay. She probably hit about 7 drop shots in this match for winners, or that caused an error. Dave, let's go. Maybe a tiebreaker here. That'd be fun.
It would only be right. Great communication there by Pejic.
Last year's national champs, McNerney and Morgan, are set to play in the men's final following this match against Guy Nunez and Jose Salazar. All right, sticking in Lopez, who's moved from the deuce to the ad. Decent amount of time in this match. Just couldn't come up with that one.
But Patty, I also really like that point because Halbauer and Zubori kept the ball on one side of the court. They didn't create any opportunities for Lopez and Pejic. You know, they kind of played pretty steady, pretty routine. You know, but I really like that there wasn't a whole lot of frantic running back and side-to-side movement by Zubori and Halbauer on that point up at the net. And I think, Patty, at this stage of the game, if you're Zubori and Halbauer, you can't hit shots hoping that Pejic and Lopez are going to miss them because, you know, they're kind of back to locking it in where they're not missing many shots.
Yep, great point, Dave. Yep. Zubori was pushing the envelope and then got them to force a ball over to Ellie, and Ellie did her thing. Got the error.
Patty,
double break point here.
Patty, where did she hit that forehand? Was it out wide or down the middle?
Oh, boy.
Halbauer, Zubori, tied at 6 games all, the second set.
All right, Dave, I guarantee no one wins 6 games in a row in this match. All right, so we've got a tiebreaker.
Depending on how this turns out, somebody may have the ability to do that.
That's right.
I agree with you. I don't think it's likely, but
I'll bet you $1,000, Dave. I'm not a bettor, but I would bet big on that one.
Yeah, I like that play, that overhead by Halbauer, hitting it straight ahead.
Yes.
Because then that allowed Zubori to close the net and help her on that next volley.
Teamwork, Dave.
That's it. And court position. Court position, remember, you don't have to cover the whole court. You only have to cover 2/3 most of the time.
Wow. A lot of movement. All 4 players all over the place here at this point. Maybe too much movement. All right, kind of a unfortunate overhead miss right there. This is Pejic serving, down 0-2 in the tiebreaker in the second set here. B. Lopez up at the net with the white paddle. On a support, about to hit the return. Ellie Halbauer over there in the deuce court.
3-7-0, 3-0.
Little frustration eking in here. You can kind of feel it. Taya Page. You know, and Taya Page and Lopez, even though they, you know, came back big here toward the end of the set, they also have to go with the assumption that Halbauer and Zubori are not going to hand them anything in this tiebreaker.
And again, the obvious reason being Halbauer and Zubori can't afford to lose this set. Especially if they're trying to win the match.
Let's go. One at a time. Right here.
Page took a little time there, retying her sneaker, Dave, and Halbauer threw in a fault.
Well, I'll tell you, Patty, at 5-1, you know, the double shoot tie really paid dividends as they were able to get up to 6-5 and run off 5 straight games. Let's see if the same holds true here.
Yeah, exactly. Keen observation, Dave.
Again, this is one of the things I watched in their semifinal match yesterday with Halbauer and Zubori, where, you know, they started gaining momentum and then they made a couple of uncharacteristic, unforced errors, and they kind of let, you know, Morgan and Sakura kind of hang in the match. And, you know, we're seeing a little bit of that in this second set. So, you know, again, I think going forward for the rest of this match and heading into the Nationals, I think one of the things for Zubori and Halbauer is to really, you know, try to, when they're up, try to really play more lockdown points, lockdown games, and, you know, really look to gain separation.
You know, I said I wanted Halbauer to hit more overheads, but I think I was dead wrong. Zubori's doing a great job. She always does a great job on her overheads. I just want to see more of the Halbauer, that overhead that she just is such a heavy roller type of shot. Just lands so low when it hits the screen.
Well, I think like we talked about earlier on where, you know, the Zubori overhead isn't going to create offense for Page and Lopez, whereas, you know, once in a while Halbauer's overhead, if it comes off that back screen a little bit harder, it does create a little bit of offense as we saw there. But I agree with you 100%. Like, you know, I think they need the Halbauer roller sprinkled in there just to give Page and Lopez a different look and to maybe create a little bit different movement for them on the baseline.
Yeah, great point, Dave. Dave, you're on fire today. I'm loving this start for you with your Duncan start to the day. It's really proved to be great.
Well, it's, you know, middle of February. I'm just catching my stride here with this. Really good volleys there from Zubori to neutralize this point.
Well, you could just feel it. It's Zubori time. You could just feel like her hand, she's got such touch. And when she is confident, she's, oh man, that was vintage Zubori right there. And good finishing touch by Ellie. Again, that drop shot early in that second set, you know, the drop shots over time have definitely proved to be effective for Zubori and Halbauer, big time. Big hole here for Pejic and Lopez. That's P. Lopez down 5-1-5 in this tiebreaker in the second set.
Yeah, we've seen Zubori and Halbauer with that up and back and forth movement when they're at the net has really paid dividends, you know, when they've used it.
Ellie got a great look there, just didn't quite make it. Zubori serving. Lopez about to hit the return. See right there. Again, Ellie's right there, but kind of not committed to forehand or backhand. Had to get out of the way, couldn't come up with the shot. Huge volley error right here. 3-5 on the Zubori serve. See if she goes big.
5-3. I want to say the pressure might be on the server here.
Well, I thought she'd go big at Lopez, and at Pejic, and she did. Great lob up the line there.
I got it.
Really good volley from in the middle from Lopez right there. That's a good sign. She closed into cover. What hands! Oh, this is great, Dave. Oh, what a sick shot. What a better volley.
This is a pretty incredible point here.
Wow, another one. It's like a highlight reel right here, all within 1 point.
I mean, a great get by Zubori just to stay in the point, and then she goes and hits the winner down the line.
6-3, Halbauer, Zubori.
All right, Ron Brigatti making the call up in the chair. 3 set points here for Halbauer Zubori to take the second set.
Patty, 3 serving 6. I think I want to see a rocket coming off the paddle of Halbauer here.
I think you will.
Maybe even a blitz. Maybe even a blitz by Zubori. Oh, no.
4 serving 6.
Well, that's the first let cord they got. That went in their favor.
And
they were out of you.
That changes the dynamic of this very quickly.
Oh, my. Wow.
5, Halbauer, Zubori.
2 quick points. Pejic and Lopez. We'll see. It's on Cincinnati's very own Ellie Halbauer. Try to serve out the set.
What a get on set point there.
I love it. Everybody wants to hit the ball, Dave. Great get. Just amazing footwork from Pejic in that ad court, Dave. Fun to watch her over there. Sets her paddle early, keeps her feet going. Perfect timing. We talked about how good Pejic and Lopez defend from the baseline. You're seeing it here.
Patty, something that I noticed with Zubori yesterday going later into their match, in their semifinal match, where, you know, she's starting to go more overheads kind of at the corner, a little bit more at the nick.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of that is just because, you know, as good as her cut overhead and her roller, you know, most of the time when she hits it, it's kind of predictable to Pejic and Lopez, where, you know, I think if she finds where she could hit the nick a couple times, that might be a little bit less predictable for them to defend.
Another good point, Dave. And, you know, it's risky when you go for the nick because it could come out and create a great offensive look for the baseline player. But then again, if you hit the nick, it could fly out and might be unreachable. Really good overhead.
Tiebreaker set, won by Halbauer, Zubori. Match tied, 1 set apiece. We're going to a third.
Dave, we'll be right back for our third in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel with live streaming by CSM Media and Streambox Labs with match statistics provided by Court Director.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
We don't have time to get into all the reasons you may need urgent care. There's coughing, wheezing, itchy rashes, unpleasant infections, twists and rolls, cold and flu, tummies too. But at Mercy Health Urgent Care, we always have the time to give you exceptional, convenient care. Because here, you can get in and out in about an hour. Mercy Health Urgent Care. Exceptional care made for you.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon your toilet will clog again.
What if it won't flush?
We'll always repair it.
Nobody puts baby in a flooded corner.
Maybe I should still fix it.
You had me at hello. We've got same-day service.
Plumbing completes me.
Dunkin's $5 meal deal. A yummy wake-up wrap. A medium iced or hot coffee. And 6 crispy golden hash browns. Dunkin's $5 meal deal. A deal for everyone.
A lot of founders start out with an idea, maybe in a garage, in a shared workspace, and really being a co-pilot along that whole journey from ideation to execution to maybe monetization one day is really the role we've decided to take in the marketplace. So I feel like we have really found a part of the market and offering that just really hasn't existed. It's this coaching, it's therapy, it's co-piloting on a journey that is unique.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. I'm Patty Hogan along with Diamond Dave Broderick here. Women's finals action from Cincinnati at the beautiful Hyde Park Golf and Country Club. We just saw Zubori and Halbauer prevail in that second set tiebreaker 7-6. Dave, the stat guy, what do you think?
I think it's been a pretty tight match. A little bit of a second set was a little bit of a seesaw battle with Zubori and Halbauer racing out to a 5-1 lead, and Lopez Pejic coming back to get ahead 6-5. They were actually serving for the match, and ultimately Halbauer and Zubori prevailing in that tiebreaker for the second set. So yeah, this is kind of everything we built it up to be. Good, exciting, fun, shot-making type of match.
Yeah,
I mean, look, Ron Borgatti, he's excited.
Oh my gosh. 80-76 total points won. 4-point discrepancy. Pretty damn close, Dave. Pretty cool. Great action here from the Midwesterns. The last stop on the APTA Tour before Nationals in 2 weeks, hosted by the Canoebrook Country Club, which is hosting 3 national titles this year. The Team Nationals, Junior Nationals, they host everything. Great staff. Dave, speaking of Junior Nationals, you'll be on the call, I understand, right? Saturday afternoon, we'll get a lot of Junior Nationals action, and you'll be there.
I will be there. I'll be there.
Calling the action. Takes a village, Dave. We got a lot of volunteers. I have longtime volunteers, Junior Nationals. I think Ellen and John Birchnall, Pam Kern, Cindy Thompson, some of my old Beacon Hill pals. I think they've been helping for, I think, over 2 decades, Dave. That's a big commitment to junior paddle.
I was going to say at least 26, 27 years.
Oh, my Lord. I don't really want to count right now. But we're looking forward to next weekend. And, Dave, it takes a village, and we get so many great volunteers. LP, group from Canoebrook, getting some volunteers ready to go. We have a great afternoon. Anybody in the community wants to come out, see the game's best in the juniors, we'll be on air from 1 to 5 out of Canoebrook next weekend. Got a family tailgate party, Dave. One of the highlights of that day. Sign-up deadline tonight. What time, Dave?
11:59 Eastern Standard Time.
Juniors shouldn't stay up that late to sign up. Sign up any time before.
Right,
All
they
right,
should sign up earlier.
All right, here we go. We're off. Third set. Taya Page taking the lead, serving. That's L.A. Halbauer, far side. Deuce court about to crack a return on a Zubori over in the ad court, far side. And B. Lopez up at the net with the white paddle.
Patty, just to add about the Junior Nationals, it would be a little bit of a disservice if I didn't mention all of your efforts, 26, 27 years ago, really amping it up and getting hundreds of kids coming out, year in and year out when you kind of took that over. And so kudos to you and thank you for your support and involvement with the APTA for all these years.
Aren't you nice, Dave? Thank you. It takes a team, it takes a village to do everything. I had so much help from you, the Broderick brothers, all the New Jersey pros. Jill Fair's been a great resource, great source of her efforts over for Junior Nationals, Team Nationals. We get help from everybody. And any pros out there, if you're interested in helping Junior Nationals, contact myself or Greg Morgan. Greg Morgan, APTA Junior Rep on the board, and Greg does a phenomenal job, runs Team Nationals, Junior Nationals. He can do it all, and he's actually on his way right now, picking up favors, balls, all the fun gear for Team Nationals and Junior Nationals today, Dave.
It's a lot of work, but you know what? If you were ever there, you watch the live stream, when you see the smile on the kids' faces, you forget about all the hours of work and all the hard work, and it's well worth it.
Yeah, that's a great point. It is one of our favorites day of the year. It's one of the most exhausting days for not playing, but one of the most rewarding. Dave, talking about people who do it all, and how about Stacy Berman? Want to talk about Stacy? She loves the live streaming. She does it all in the Jersey area. What a positive influencer is what I call Stacy Berman. Glad she's enjoying the action. And Stacy used to be over at Orange Lawn when B. Lopez was teaching over there. Neither are at Orange Lawn at this point in time. But Stacy loves all the top players, loves watching all the live streaming.
She does a lot of great things with the Bass Foundation and the New Jersey community. They do a great job, and they're fortunate that they do such a good job that people are willing to volunteer and help out any way they can. So.
Yeah, Albie Regalato's not here this weekend. He might be doing some of his volunteer work with the Bass Foundation. Stacy's does a great job in recruiting all the pros, and everyone steps up to the best of their ability and helps out. great effort in New Jersey, started by Tommy Bash, your buddy, Dave. Everyone's buddy. Ha! Great hands battle. Dave, who do you think it's more critical to get off to a good start here in the third set?
Halbauer and Zubori.
There's no hesitation in your answers. How come, Dave?
I just think from watching them, you know, in this match and yesterday's match there, they can tend to, you know, being prone a little bit to unforced errors. And, you know, I think they can get away with some of those if they're in the lead. But if they're, you know, playing catch up in this set, they really can't afford to miss any shots. And I just want, Patty, I just want to add to it that it's, you know, they're not missing shots on purpose. They're just, you know, that's their style of play. They, you know, they're explosive. They go for good shots. They're shot makers. So, you know, you're going to miss more balls than a team that just tries to keep the ball at play. As we see a great drop shot there from Pejic of her own.
Yeah. Hey, you know, you learn from everyone in this game, and you learn from your opponents. Zubori's hit so many effective drops. Why not for Paige? I love that play from her. Great hands play, and we're at 30-all in the first game. Finals of the final Grand Prix, the 5th Grand Prix of the year on the APTA Tour. And Dave, to your point, when you go for a nick, it's risky in a way, but yeah, there's a reward to it, and Lopez was rewarded by targeting the nick right there.
Good move there by Ellie Halbauer.
Yeah, you can't just stand there. When Ellie's coming your way, you gotta go. I think you gotta go forward there at that point, or get off to the side of the court. Wow. Halbauer, Zubori bringing the offense, and Paige and Lopez doing what they do great, defense. Good lob up the line right there, forced the overhead error, and a break point for Halbauer Zubori.
Yeah, Patty, I think when you play a lot of these top teams, especially a team like Zubori and Halbauer, you know, if you're not volleying well, they're going to run you over.
Pretty backdrop here, Dave, in Cincinnati at the Hyde Park Club. What a beautiful club. What facilities, amazing player amenities. This club has kind of figured it out, Dave. They're an old school club, founded in 1909, we mentioned earlier, but got modern conveniences that make this such an attractive place for families to join. They even have a kids' game room, Dave, and bowling. I mean, I want to join.
Yeah, bowling could be fun.
What do you mean could be? It is, Dave. I mean, I would get Stacy on my team. If we were to go bowling and we were to pick a team, I'd get Stacy on my team because I think she would nail the outfits. Great shot of B. Lopez in this ad court. Great shot of her manicure, except for that shot. Whoops. She's done a really good job. I love their baseline scheme today. Another break point against Taya Page's serve.
Halbauer Zubori. Halbauer Zubori lead 1-0 in the third set.
Big break. Big break. Dave, what do you think you would have liked to have seen Lopez do with that shot?
You know, I don't know. Again, I think a lot of it has to do with the movement and, you know, try to play a ball that you could defend the next one on. Don't create opportunities for your opponents.
I just think when that player to the right is off the net and starts moving toward the middle, that ball would have tracked beautifully to, her partner's, which Paige, her overhead. She didn't have to force that or just dump it straight ahead. Just can't shoot yourself in the foot making unforced errors like that at key points. Game point in the third set. Here's Anna Zubori. Up 1-love. First lead they've had in the match, Dave. Is that right?
Yeah, this is the first lead they've had in the overall match. Absolutely. I think they got it to 2-all in the first set, and then that was it.
15 love.
Well, I think the commentator outfits maybe should be based on the winning color combinations from today's Grand Prix, Dave.
We'll have to check with the style department and hair and makeup.
Oh. Again.
There's nothing to say, just it's laughable.
Oh my God, what great exchanges out here. These four women are putting on quite a show.
Patty, we shouldn't be rooting for anyone, but I have to be honest, I think I might be rooting for Zubori to win this point.
Because she got the tweener.
Because of that, I mean... Oh my God.
That's sick.
We're just going to show that highlight for the rest of the match. We'll just give you updates every 3 minutes.
That's right. See that low volley control from Zubori, how balanced she was. She just waits for that ball, lets it rebound off her paddle face.
Again, her body was very quiet. Her feet were very quiet. Patty, I was just going to say, based on a couple of the previous overheads, you know, when Zubori hits overheads, you never really see her run for the next shot. You know, she just hits, you know, solid overheads to the right spots. Again, in a place, in an area of the court that she could defend the next ball. You know, she doesn't hit too many overheads where, you know, she's not ready for the next shot or in the wrong place.
I can't fucking believe this.
Okay, so Dave, Volley error there. The ball floated a little long on Zubori. She's shocked that she missed that volley, but the ball was out. Great hands. Zubori was a little, went boldly there, right there. And it was rewarded. Another break point here for Lopez Pejic.
Lopez Pejic. Third set, tied at 1.
All right, 2 for 2. Breaks of serve, Dave, to start the third set. Kind of not a surprise, actually.
No, that's kind of how the first set started out, where there were quite a few breaks of serve, and
yep.
And again, I'm sticking with my thoughts that if you're Halbauer Zubori, you know, you've got to stay ahead here.
Dave, do people think about, do you think they think about that? It's like a pressure thing that they feel or not?
I think some players do. I mean, definitely, I would have to think, you know, even at the highest level, it's in the back of some of their minds where it's like, you know, everyone knows how they're playing. You know, they know if they're holding serve easily. They know if it's a grind. They know if they're breaking serve easily. So, you know, I definitely think it's on the back of their mind. It's just, it comes down to how you manage it.
30 love.
I would say there's a little management going on right now, Dave, would you say, with Halbauer and Zubori?
Which, and that's a good idea, you know. I mean, you know, we've been going on for, you know, almost 3 hours. There's no point in rushing now. You know, take your time, collect your thoughts, and, you know, again, you can't let one missed shot turn into 3, which they're doing right now. You know, again, I want to see Halbauer Zubori right now, win or lose this point. I just want them to play a long point and kind of get back into the match. Or get back into the moment.
Game, Lopez Pejic. Lopez Pejic lead 2 games to 1 in the third set.
Five-point streak here for Lopez Pejic, thanks to statistics provided by court director throughout the season.
Let's go. Come on.
We got a 2-game streak here for Lopez Pejic. Halbauer Zubori got off to a quick start. Broke Pejic to start the set, but two games in a row here for Lopez Pejic. And I feel like, it just kind of feel like Zubori, Halbauer, you know, this is only their 3rd event together. I still feel like they're working out the kinks a little bit on situations and who's doing what and what their actual plan is. And there's so many different circumstances that pop up here, and you know, veteran teams have the benefit of having been through them and then kind of knowing how to respond.
Come on, let's go. Right here.
Boy, that looked out. I was going to say that.
Yeah.
All right, good. No complaints about line calls.
You got it, you're there.
Yeah, you just knew Zubori was going to drop that.
15-0.
Is that ball on your way?
I would try my best if I could to avoid Zubori and giving her those hands kinds of plays.
15-30.
Sometimes you can't avoid it at all, but they've just got to be mindful of every single shot. And when Zubori's on top of that net doing her thing, don't give her the ball.
Right, you can't give her that mid-speed drive.
I think that was out too, Dave.
15-40.
Yeah.
Double break point against the Halbauer. Serve here on Lopez's paddle. And again, you know, Zubori's just having way too many chances to hit those drops. And those guys are fast as hell, but they're kind of playing into Zubori and what she loves doing, those combination shots at the net. One more break point here on Taya Page's paddle. Great, great duck, Dave. I don't know how she got out of the way of that one. Wow.
They lead 3-1 in the third set.
So Zubori had 3 errors in that game. She had some magical shots as well, but you know, going for the sidelines, you know, off speed, a little risky, or in this situation, not so easy to execute.
No.
So here we have Taya Page serving up 3-1 in the third set of the finals of the Midwesterns. I'm Patty Hogan along with Dave Broderick, enjoying the action.
Patty, this is what I was worried about for Halbauer and Zubori, and talked about a little bit early on about just, you know, these unforced errors creeping in, you know, when they really don't, you know, they're definitely, they don't need to be missing or trying to go for that good of a shot at the particular moment. Even that one was.
I mean, I was like, well, she's thinking the odds are going to be with me. I'm going to get this one. And that's the thing. Zubori has those hands. She just is so confident. There's not a ball that comes her way that she doesn't envision 3 amazing shots coming off her paddle.
Patty, again, win or lose this match going into nationals, you know, Halbauer, Zubori, I don't think they need to panic or worry. They just kind of need to address it and, you know, understand that, yeah, at certain times we kind of really have to clamp down and, you know, not let some of those unforced errors creep in there and, you know, either bring the other team back into the match or let them hang around.
See, you don't need to give Halbauer that shot. No. That's that extreme cross court, and you end up giving up the net.
No, again. Come on. Let's go.
40-30.
So, Dave, is the score correct?
I think it's 40-30.
Come on. Let's get it back.
15-40.
I think it's...
Let's go. Come on.
I don't know what I think, Dave. I was distracted. I just had a sip of my Dunkin'.
I think Ron Borgatti called out 15-40.
He did.
All right, well, then I'm going to guess that's...
30-40.
All right.
Yeah, beautiful rip, return of serve. Zubori, good consecutive drives, take over the net.
Go.
Good encouragement.
You.
Go, go, go.
Got it.
Dave, you do that a lot when you play, right? Tell
I
your
do.
partner,
That's my
go, go,
favorite
go.
call. You go. Go.
If it concerns running and someone has to run, you
Right.
advise your partner to take off.
And Patty, I'm very encouraging. And at the moment, I'm their #1 fan and cheerleader.
I go. Yes. Come on.
Wow.
Let's go.
All right, 3 points in a row. Gigantic moment in this match. Third set, finals of the Midwesterns. Ellie wasn't even looking. She knew the situation. She had to make sure she got the ball in play. She gets her looks. What beautiful strokes. Just didn't make the second one, but you know, we haven't seen a lot of Ellie because they've not given her that many. You know, they've not given her opportunities.
I said it earlier on where, you know, even if you're giving her balls into her screen, you're giving her touches, you're keeping her in the match, you're, you know, letting her get a feel for the ball. And, you know, I think by limiting the number of shots you're hitting over to that side of the court, and there again, you know, that might just be a little frustration and feel like this could be my only chance. Let me try to win the point.
Okay, so Dave, I said to you, I'd bet you almost $1,000 that no one would go on a 6-game run in this match. Again, we had a 5-game streak in the second set. Halbauer, Zubori, then Lopez went on a run. They won 5 games in a row in that second set, and Lopez and Pejic are on a roll here, having won 4 games in a row here after Halbauer and Zubori broke serve to start the third set.
No, I think Zubori and Halbauer are going to stop the slide right here.
Ellie's looking for support. She's got the hometown crowd. They're all cheering her on.
They have the Cincinnati Reds home colors, red and white on.
That's right. What a close. And that's just a little, you know, Ellie was out of position. Anna went for a shot. She didn't really give Ellie a chance. You know what I mean? It was wishful thinking there, just great hands. And that was where, you know, we said when Pejic and Lopez go and volley and look to volley and move in and take a little time away, it works wonders.
I think it all started with that hard rolling overhead straight off the back screen.
Right, and that's the thing we were talking about, and I said I wanted to see it more, but you're saying you don't think so because the foot speed and racket skills from Lopez and Pejic, they're kind of negating the effectiveness of it.
Well, I like when she hits it lower and more to the middle, angled to the side screen.
Yes.
But when that ball's, no matter who's hitting it, when they're just hitting it straight ahead, and that ball's coming straight off the back screen, that's... You know, I guess you're trying to make something happen or create some kind of movement, but, you know, it hasn't been effective against the duo of Lopez and Pejic.
That was a sick volley from Lopez. I mean, off of a Lopez drive for Zubori. She is such a good low volleyer. Again, they're letting her play. I don't think you give Anna Zubori, when she's in that sandbox, don't give her any toys. Triple break point here on the Zubori serve. Wow.
Lopez, Pejic, they lead the third set 5-1.
Dave, this could be a $1,000 game that we didn't bet money on. 5 in a row.
I
Lopez
definitely wouldn't have called this to start the beginning of this set.
I'm a little bit wondering on some of the tactics or game plan that Zubori Halbauer came into this third set with, because they're elusive to me right now. I'm not seeing like a plan, Dave. And
right.
I think when you're a great player, you assume you're going to play great, but it doesn't always happen. And you know, we've talked about how good defenders Lopez and Pejic are, and their foot speed, racket skills. So you've got to have different pages in your playbook that you can draw upon when it's not going your way, and it's clearly huge momentum, 5 games in a row for Pejic and Lopez.
30-15.
2 points away from the championship here in Cincinnati. We'll see what Anna Zubori has to say about that now. Cracks her forehand, I bet. You could tell she's frustrated and she's just swinging, Dave. Double match point.
And you know what? I mean,
let go of them.
I can't fucking believe, like...
Okay.
This is not even fun or worth playing. Like, this is the worst freaking things I have ever experienced in 10 years of fucking paddle.
You know, there's a lot of mics that pick up a lot of the chatter out there, Dave, so we need to keep talking over that chatter, I think. That's my take. So, Dave, let's take a look at the match stats provided by court director, first of all.
yeah, you're looking at the third set there, and you see how lopsided it was with 29 points to 15, almost doubled them up. You know, I think the third set again, and I talked about it earlier on, I thought for Halbauer, Zubori, it was just more of, you know, making unforced errors more than it was the play of Lopez and Pejic.
Yeah. And you know, what a tournament for Lopez and Pejic. They came here, had a statement to make, Dave, and they made their statement. They played a phenomenal match. I think we're going, Dave, we're going to wrap it up. We want you to go over to the other YouTube channel and watch the men's finals. And for everyone else, have a great Sunday, and we'll see you at Nationals. Thanks, Dave.
All right, Patty. Thank you. Patty.
Dave, no, wait.
I can wait for this. Matt, give me my odds. I need someone to talk to. Stand over here. Yep. Yeah. Just give me the affirmation and then put the two. To your left. Okay. All right. Right here, by the way. No, we're good. So we're looking this way. Yep.
by the handles.
This is our first.
I would hold it by the handles.
I got it.
Yeah, there we go.
Hold it like maybe you need to put your paddle in your arm.
It's so
Then that way.
There you go. Look at my camera, please. Oh, get sprinkles in the picture.
You want to be in the middle?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Donna in the middle. Maybe we should take one myself. Maybe we drop the paddle. Can you take my paddle? Okay, and then you take the other side. There, exactly.
Oh my God, be careful.
We got it.
Okay.
Yo, can you take a photo?
Right.
Keep going. In the middle, Okay.
All right.
One more.
But it's actually there, right?
Yeah, it's there. It's just loose. Tell me when you're ready. You want to give it to me?
You want more?
One video, please.
Okay, are we gonna be lifting it up?
Yeah. It's gonna fall.
No, we got it.
The business owners that I'm working with have entrusted Corient in this work because we're really focused on supporting them in their important endeavors. They're functioning every day in their zone of genius, and their expectation of us is we're doing the same. My name is Anna Diaz. I'm a partner and wealth advisor at Corient. When we think about the work we're doing for our clients, we think about first financial, absolutely. It is not uncommon that our very successful business owners and clients are making disjointed decisions. Our job is to provide a proactive strategy so the filter in which they make these decisions is informed. Second is the emotional load. Our clients often are asking themselves, what am I missing? Our job is to remove that mental load so they feel that their strategy is optimized, is simplified, and is executed cleanly. And the third is generational. Absolutely, there is technical design that goes into that, but it is also the thoughtful impact they want to have with what they've created.